Hello. So I'm Luke Reynolds and the author of the Fantastic Failures books. And I want to talk a little bit about the second book that's coming out, Even More Fantastic Failures. And one of the central premises of this book is that failure is a part of all of our lives, no matter what, no matter how much we try to evade it. It's a part of everyone's life who has accomplished anything significant in this world, right? And so today I just want to talk about two different ways to think about failure. And in Even More Fantastic Failures, there's stories and examples of amazing human beings who have experienced both of these types of failures. The first type of failure is when a wall goes up in front of you, you're pursuing a goal. Say you want to be an incredible ballerina or a basketball player or a molecular biologist or in the Navy. You want to do something and you're passionate about it and you're excited, and then a wall goes up and it keeps preventing you from doing it. Sometimes that failure is there, and it means that we simply have to keep trying, and we try new ways to get around that wall. We try new ideas, new paths to sort of get through it. We sometimes need help. We actually always need help from other people to achieve anything significant. And so the first kind of failure we fight through, we keep going. We're rejected from something, we try again, right? So we keep pushing forward, we don't stop. But the second kind of failure can be a redirecting type of failure, right? Where we experience failure, and instead of saying we have to keep going and reach that original goal we had in mind, the second kind of failure sometimes makes us think, wait a minute, I failed trying to invent this new toy, but as I failed while I was trying to create this new toy, I saw that I actually really like thinking about creating a new sport or something else, right? Or I failed in pursuing my goal to be a professional basketball player, but en route I learned that I really love running, and maybe I'm really into cross country rather than basketball. Or I failed, on and on. We pursue something and we don't get it, and we learn something else about ourselves along the way. And so failure can serve one of these two pretty profound purposes, right? What we don't want to ever let failure or rejection do to us is just make us stop completely and say, hey, I didn't get this goal, so I'm kind of done. I'm not even going to pursue anything anymore. I just feel like what's the point? And by sharing these stories of these 30 amazing individuals and even more fantastic failures, my hope is that you see that failure is common and normal. None of us get through life without being rejected, failing at something we love, experiencing some deep hurt while we're pursuing something we're excited about. It happens to all of us. And what we don't want to do is stop and say, I'm done, and give into cynicism and fear and say, it's not worth it, right? It might not be worth pursuing the original goal we started at, but sometimes failure redirects us into a pretty cool new way of seeing something or experiencing something, right? Say you're a middle school student and you were leaving basketball practice a basketball tryout, and you did not make the team. And on your way from practice, you're walking down the hall, head hung low, and you thought, I really wanted to be on the eighth grade basketball team, and I did not make it. But then you hear some excited voices from a classroom right there, and people are really into it, and you peek in the door and they're playing chess, right? And you're like, I remember playing chess when I was younger and I loved it. And so you kind of hang out and they invite you in and you start playing and you realize chess is awesome. That's an example of a failure that sometimes redirects you, right? And it's not always that quick, but it redirects you into something else you're passionate about. However, say you leave that basketball practice and you see the chess room and you're like, yeah, the chess is cool, but I love basketball. It's inside me. I have to play. There's joy. So instead of joining the chess club, maybe you go home and you get the basketball out and you go back to the public playground where there's a basketball court, or if you're lucky enough to have one in your apartment complex or home where you live, and you practice harder and harder and harder and you try out again in ninth grade. Both of those are seen as overcoming. Both of those are victories. And both, you didn't let failure stop you and say, I'm going to go home and sit on the couch and do nothing. I just give up, right? And one, you joined the chess club, and the other, you kept pursuing basketball. And that's what I would implore you to see failure as. Not something that should ever make you stop and say, I quit everything, I'm done trying. But sometimes it helps us to try new things and sends us on new paths, or failure has the other potential power of failure is to show us how deeply we care about the thing we failed at and that we are going to try again. All right. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you somewhere in the pages of Even More Fantastic Failures.